From MAMPUS to all MotoGP fans listening in, we're live from the spectacular Phillip Island circuit for the Australian round of MotoGP, a jewel in the crown of the championship. Just a few more moments and the images will take us to the starting straight for the MotoGP class race. These images are coming to us live from the starting grid where technicians and engineers are carrying out final checks on the bike before the start. The sun is shining and there's not a trace of cloud. It's really hot. With these temperatures, it's no surprise that most riders have opted for a hard compound on both front and rear.
Position, it's Jorge Martin. Accompanying him on the front row is Brad Binder and Francesco Bagnaia. On the second row, it's Aleix Espargaro, JOHAN alongside Augusto Fernandez and Luca Marini. And on the last row, it's Portuguese superstar Miguel Oliveira, Franco Morbidelli and Taka Nakagami.
Riders are lined up on the grid with Pecco Bagnaia in pole position and ready to start. Just a few more seconds until the lights go out and the race begins. It's full throttle, lights out, we are racing here in Phillip Island, and Martin does make the dream start for pole position. They shoot down towards the Dukung corner. On the inside though was Brad Binder. He can't quite get through though. Bagnaia stays in third place. Marquez running wide through the Dukung corner, but Martin executes the perfect start. He leads for the first time through the Southern Loop.
Absolutely corking start from Jack Miller, straight through into fourth place. He launched that KTM through the second row starters immediately and up into fourth. Contact into Dukung corner between Aleix Espargaro and Johan ZARCO, who both lost out to Gian Antonio.
Bit of rubbing now as well between Espargaro and Marquez. They rub shoulders coming through the high-speed fourth gear, Stoner corner. Aleix Espargaro gets picked up again by Marquez, getting duffed up here, isn't he? The brilliant man who started in fourth place on the grid. He's now in a sandwich between ZARCO and Espargaro, but Martin accelerates and powers out of side rear for the first time. He's already over half a second clear of Binder in second place.
Well, it's a Saturday afternoon and Jorge Martin is treating this like a sprint in the early stages. He's getting on with it quickly. Bagnaia isn't. He's losing a bit of ground early on to Brad Binder, and he's got Jack Miller now all over him. The two former teammates going head to head.
And look at this by Digi there in fifth place, Nagrini Ducati. This has been a superb first lap by Miller. He now rubs elbow to elbow with his former Ducati teammate Pecco Bagnaia. Jack Miller then the man on the move. It has been Thriller Miller on this first lap of his home Grand Prix. Started 8th, he's inside the podium places as we complete lap 1.
Yeah, Bagnaia really up against it, struggling on this opening lap to try and keep touch with leaders as Gian Antonio now has a go at the reigning world champion. Marquez up to 6th, clearly thinking, give me that soft rear tyre and get me in the group. He's firmly in the group as he picks up Gian Antonio as Bagnaia's back through on Miller.
Gian Antonio tries to tough it out around the outside into the Dukung corner. Well, that's really, really tough. He has done it though. Brilliant stuff this by Digi, fighting for his MotoGP future. Marquez tries the inside line, tight run through the Southern Loop. There is no way through. At the end of that first lap, Jorge Martin already nearly half a second clear. A 1:34 form opening lap from the pole man.
Binder's been able to peg that though in the first sector. Binder has closed in. Digi on the inside then on Jack Miller, who picks him aside. One ball with Marquez, who picks the opportunity up and moves back through on Miller, who now drops 2 places.
Bagnaia's 18-point World Championship lead, which is shrinking at the moment. Gian Antonio gets a bit of a head shake as they power down the 6th gear, 350 kilometers an hour, Gardner straight, not close enough to attack as into the Dukung corner. They go side by side, that's so close. Bagnaia just stands firm, but Martin and Binder here are checking out as Digi does go for it on the inside of Bagnaia into the Southern Loop. Gian Antonio on course for his first MotoGP podium. This is a sensational performance from the man who hasn't got a ride next year.
Gian Antonio can see the leading pair getting away and feels I could go with these guys. I just need to get past Bagnaia and try and pull away. So the world champion struggling in these early stages. He does not have the pace of the leading pair. We know that. He now doesn't have the pace of Gian Antonio, who's gone through, as now Miller and Marquez now swap paints as they go side by side. They're now battling for 6th place. ZARCO's past the pair of them.
Miller coming through, added the corner named after him, turn 4. That was beautiful by Jack Miller. Through on the 8 times world champion Marquez. We're looking back now as they power through this magnificent third sector. It's all fourth gear, high speed, rapid change of direction as they now climb towards Lukey Heights. Third gear left-hander, you'll come over the blind crest. back 2 gears to first then. Good overtaking hotspot this, down the hill into turn 10. Marquez already had a couple of crashes here this weekend. He's safely through this time around as we look from the Repsol man, looking towards Jack Miller. There's Johan Zarco just ahead of Miller. Martin though now is already trying to pull the pin here. He was through the third sector, over 9/10 of a second clear of Brad Binder. It might well be a second lead as we come to start this third lap. He's in the 128s, unrivaled pace at the moment early on for Martin. He's capitalising on that Michelin soft rear tyre, 128.823, 3/10 quicker than Binder on that last lap, and his lead is a second as we start lap 4.
Marquez and Miller battling again into Miller corner. Miller loses what is now 6th place.
Yeah, there's plenty of room there, wasn't there, for Marquez just to slot that Repsol on the inside. Huge credit here to the Gian Antonio. Look at the gap he's already immediately put into Bagnaia in 3rd place. The Gian Antonio sweeping through towards what was formerly known as the Haii shed, turn 8. A really fast part of this 4.4 coming to Phillip Island circuit. The Gian Antonio is going to be nearly a second clear already, having only just taken 3rd place on the previous lap from Bagnaia. On that lap 3, the Gian Antonio was 7/10 quicker than Bagnaia, who does not have the early rhythm here at all, does he? The world champion, a bit of a sitting duck as well. He's coming under massive pressure from Zarco and Marquez. That's the battle for 4th place, which is where we didn't anticipate seeing Bagnaia. You have to say, he has not been in the game so far. It's been a shocker, hasn't it, for Viñales, a man who looked like he was going to be a real serious threat, not just for the podium here this weekend, but for the victory. Zarco blitzes by. Marquez's Repsol is going to have the inside line for Dukung corner. Martin is just in a completely different level. This is Mandalika all over again. He'll hope with a very different outcome. A lap 5 complete. He's already nearly 2 seconds clear of Binder. He's still comfortably in those 128s as Miller and the latest Spargo toughed it out. They've already had a tangle through the Southern Loop at the end of Q2 this morning. A love lost between those two at the end of play in qualifying. That's why Miller felt like he was marooned down in 8th place. He's in 8th place right now, having got up very early on inside that top 3. Miller struggling for early rhythm.
And Zarco struggling to meet the apex of Miller corner there as he went around turn 4, which nearly let Marquez through. Zarco's now on the inside line and he's going to drift wide into Siberia. Marquez is taking every opportunity available on the table at the moment as Zarco now tries to get on the inside now as they go through the Haii shed side by side. It's advantage Zarco again.
As we go through turn 8, 4th gear over 210 kilometres an hour. Fabio Gian Antonio was in floods of tears after career best 4th place last weekend in Mandalika. They'll need a mop to wipe up the tears if he finishes on the podium here today. Stunning stuff still by the Italian. We're on board with the latest file on the factory of Phillip. Down through turn 10. Simon, some observations.
Yeah, so I think it's very difficult to tell what's going on at the moment. There's riders out there managing tyres and they're on the medium. And there's riders, I think, that didn't take enough advantage from the soft. I think basically from mid-race, so 13 laps to go, you're really going to start to see the different tyres come in to play. And I'll be honest, I would not want to be on that soft rear tyre for the last 10 or 8 laps. And if Jorge Martin can pull this off, I really am going to dock my cap. Amazing job, but like I said, I wouldn't want to be on that soft rear tyre for the last 10 laps.
Yeah, thanks Simon. We're going to see when we get into that crucial final phase of this Australian Grand Prix just how Martin has managed that soft rear tyre. How much has he punished it? How much has he abused it to establish this near 2.5 second lead over Binder? It's a pretty big advantage to manage. But he's still doing low 129s, which is a pace that nobody else can match. Bagnaia and Zarco on lap 8 just did their personal best laps of this Grand Prix. Bagnaia a 29.5, Zarco a 29.388, but neither of them were quicker than Martin's pace, so he's still full hammer down.
Yeah, Zarco near enough matched Martin's pace on the last lap, so he's getting towards him. And John Zarco, of course, can do his teammate a massive favour by taking 4th place. That would take another 2 points from Bagnaia, who's currently holding on to a 6-point World Championship lead going into tomorrow's Tissot Sprint. You can see the damage that this race is doing to Marco Bezzecchi's title hopes at the moment. 69 off the World Championship lead. You put the flag out now. Martin's last lap was a 129.5. That is still quicker than Binder and Gian Antonio behind him. Bagnaia on that occasion set a personal best, which was quicker than the leaders. The fastest rider in the leading 6 is Marquez, who's also on that soft rear tyre, running 6th place. He's put a bit of distance down between himself and Aleix Espargaro, who's busy running wide and battling with his old foe from this morning, Jack Miller.
That 129.553 for Martin on lap 9 aside from the standing start from lap 1, is probably his slowest lap of this Grand Prix so far, but he was still able to shot the pieces. Here we go then, Martin leads by just 0.4 of a second.
I don't think Johan Zarco's going to have a choice here, Matt. I think he's going to have to either pass Jorge Martin or be passed by Bagnaia, because Jorge Martin did a 31.7 on the last lap. How is he going to be able to defend this on the final lap? He's got no rear grip left.
He's a passenger, he's a sitting duck. Next to the seaside here in Phillip Island, Johan Zarco has waited 120 Grand Prix. He surely has to go for it. He has to make the move. Does he go for it here into the middle corner? He does on the inside. Martin might even miss the podium here. Bagnaia could be taking the victory. What an incredible last lap here. High drama in Phillip Island. You can throw a blanket, a tissue over the top 5. Out of Siberia we go. Jorge Martin was, 8 corners away.
He's going to be on the podium now.
He's not even going to finish on the podium. That soft rear tyre has destroyed itself. Johan Zarco then now comes to the front of this Australian Grand Prix.
Now he does need to win the Grand Prix. He needs to win it for his teammate, because Bagnaia is in second place. 119 Grand Prix of waiting. Could be 2 corners away from ending for Johan Zarco.
Get ready for the Frenchman's backflip. It'll be back for the first time since Valencia in 2016. What a race. What a circuit. Binder on the inside. Here comes Haii Martin back in the 4th place, but Johan Zarco, finally, we can say the Flying Frenchman is a MotoGP winner here in an unbelievable race winner who is rightly celebrating with his mechanics. If he continues like this, it will be difficult for his rivals to catch up with him. We are picking up again live from the track where the first 3 riders have just arrived on the podium for the awards ceremony. We've seen a very exciting race, and these riders deserve all the love from the fans. Let's take a look at the final ranking of the MotoGP race before the traditional podium ceremony.